This is an SM Media production.
Hi folks, and welcome to the latest episode of the SM Media East of Scotland Football Show. I'm Scott McPike. It is always a pleasure to be your host, and I'm privileged to welcome as our special guest this week. It is a delight to welcome the manager of Dunipace, the newly promoted side from the First Division, Danny Smith. Danny, first of all, congratulations, and thank you very much for joining me in this week's show.
Absolutely. Again, thanks for having me, Scott. Thanks for your kind words there. Just very happy. We've had a good season, a very good season, and just happy now about the pressure pot as such of vying for promotion. As I say, we've now got a couple of games left that we can hopefully focus on, see where it can take us, see if we can win a league now. But it'll certainly be an interesting watch for the remainder of the season with the teams vying for their two spots.
And obviously, you mentioned about the kind of securing promotion and how tight the league has been as well. I want to touch on obviously the kind of the performances in the league, because obviously you look at the results. There's a lot of impressive victories in there. It's been a really exciting journey for you. I just want to touch on obviously your kind of time after Christmas, because I think this is what kind of sealed the promotion for you. You beat Camelon 2-1 at home in 29th of December. Then the 13th of January, beat Whitburn 4-2 at home, and then 3-0 at home to St Andrews. Those were three huge results at home. And would you say they were the kind of most important kind of run of the season?
I'll probably take you a wee bit further back. I think the 5th of November was a huge day for ourselves when we beat Whitburn at Whitburn. However, we got made replay that game.
That's right,
which I still don't get my head round. However, I think after that day at Whitburn, I seen a real belief in my team. And so you've got to remember here, what over the last few years, we went for an experienced group and young, and nothing really in the middle, as in 24, 25, 26, 27, where I feel at the levels, when you get to the ages, you understand the levels, your consistency levels will probably be better than a youngster that's just learning his trade as such. And the older heads as such have always helped bring these younger ones along. This year was a transitional period for us as a club where the younger group were getting past the baton. Now, I'm not going to sit here and kid on, I've not got some experienced players. I mean, Connor Kelly, Kieran Anderson, Kyle Turnbull, Jordan Hearn, David Kane in goals. They've been all excellent for us this season. So, however, I've got an average age of a squad of 24. I've got 8 players that I've actually played with under 20s team. I don't think there'll be many teams that will be able to say that. So we are a developing club, and it has over the last few years. You've helped develop these lads into they're now holding the mantle in the first team. Now, we had some bumps in the road at the first half of the season, but certainly, as I say, I go back to that day away from Whitburn where we won 1-0 convincingly with a game abandoned. But I seen real belief that day, and I seen them almost grow up that day, because going to Whitburn at any time is no an easy game, specifically in the winter months when the park's no great. However, your period that you spoke about there, Camelon just before the new year, Whitburn after that, St Andrews again after that. I think if you look at the top teams in this league, and I include Newton Grange in this, so we've arguably played Whitburn 3 times this season. They've no beat us. We beat them twice, drew 1. Camelon, we've beat them twice. St Andrews, we've played them 3 times, including a cup tie. We've beat them twice. We got beat up there early in the season. And Newton Grange, we've played once and we've taken 3 points. So I think when you're trying to be competitive and try to get promotion, try to win leagues, you need to be beating the teams round about you. And that's one big difference this season that we've never done in the previous 2 seasons, Scott, if we've been trying to get out of leagues. We've never beat the teams round about us. So the group now, I've got a hungry group, and really pleased for them that they've got their rewards for the hard work they put in, because they work extremely hard. Training nights we're working very hard. They do that, and then come Saturdays, it's just then they put into practice what they've been doing during the week, the Tuesday and Thursdays, and they've been getting the rewards. it's been a great second half of our season.
And obviously for yourself as well, obviously being local and taking over the club, and obviously having a history at the club as well. How does it feel for you personally to be the man at the helm, taking Dunipace back into the top flight?
Scott, very proud. As a local man, it does mean a lot to me. I love my football. I love these levels. I've been fortunate at these levels to be quite successful as a player, and arguably I've had decent times as a manager as well. As a local, what you're now seeing, and it gives me real pleasure to say this, we've now got a support, a fan base, the local community's following us, they're supporting us, and we're now expecting crowds at home games. It's a catch-22. I always believe that people will come if you've got a team in the park. If you've got a team in the park that's trying to play the right way and trying to be successful, arguably some people like try to watch football because they're playing it the right way. And I feel we're trying to do that. We do that. The crowds now, there's an expectancy level. So that's what comes with ultimately trying to be successful. And that's something that I love, taking that responsibility. So our club's in a good place. We're hopefully in the next 12 months have a new dressing room facility. Hopefully in the next 6 months or so we could have a little stand across that our supporters can hopefully have a seat at a good viewing point. On the park, we're in a good place, and we're just trying to keep building. We understand going to a Premier League, we're not just going to go to a Premier League and we'll need to work very hard at staying in a Premier League. We'll need to work very hard off a park. We'll need to work hard on a park to try to now compete and ultimately try and make the Premier League that's Dunipace's level.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And I don't like singling players out, and I don't imagine, obviously, you'll want me to single a player out either, but I think there's one player, obviously, that kind of symbolised this season, and I think it was fitting he got both the goals to kind of get his up against Oakley. Sam Colley this season has just been, any time you look at the results and look at, you obviously know about the player of the week we do and things like that, people put Sam up all the time, and I think Sam has been marvellous this season.
Listen, you're right. As I say, Sam's just one of the young group that know that, honestly, I feel we've got some real exceptional talents at the level. Sam deserves huge credit. But 3 and a bit year ago when we came over with Sam, if you speak to Sam will probably admit it's been a two-way street where we've worked with Sam and he's staying on board what we've asked and tried to get him to do. And we're now all benefiting out of that. And you really see a powerful wide player. But again, Sam can play through the middle, but he's exceptional. Some of the goals he scores and his ability at times is incredible. But you're right, he deserves maybe some special praise. He's scored a lot of important goals for us. So he's certainly at Oakley, his 2 goals mattered. But as I say, I think it shows the signs of a good and a successful team when you're sitting going, if I were to pick a player of the year just now, who would be your player of the year? Well, you sit and go in your head, there's at least 6, 7, 8 players that you can then mention, and that shows consistency. And arguably when you get that spot, that then brings success.
Yeah, absolutely. And we'll obviously get your thoughts in the kind of division over the course of the show. Obviously, there's a lot to talk about in terms of the promotion time, but again, brilliant praise to you, and obviously you will be looking ahead towards potentially a trophy at the end of the season. A side that won a trophy during the weekend was Inverkeithing and Hillfield Swifts. They defeated Dunbar United 2-1 in the qualifying cup. I've been really impressed with the Swifts this season. Like I think a lot of people would have been fancying Dunbar in that game, but I think it's a massive achievement for the Swifts to go and win that.
I think Dunbar would have fancied themselves. Arguably, when they beat us in the semi-final, you could see it really mattered to them that day. Again, total credit to Inverkeithing. They're the ones sitting with a cup. They'll just be now looking to try and put that result and hopefully kick on and get some more points to the board and arguably try and keep themselves in the Premier League now, Scott. So, as I say, but I think most people would have favoured Dunbar, arguably before the game, but as I say, total credit to Inverkeithing for getting a result.
Yeah, absolutely. Massive achievement to Inverkeithing for winning the cup. Moving in to the Premier Division, I'm pretty sure, I'm not 100% confident this is the case, but I'm sure Broxburn would have been champions if they won at the weekend. They were held 1-1 by Genefield away from home. They are within touching distance, Danny, of winning the title. They've obviously, I think they only need another win out of the last 2 games. Broxburn, they obviously have been a really kind of well-oiled machine. They've got 2 games in the next 2, away to Canoe, home to Crossgates. Win one of them and they're champions, and they're a side as well who we've praised them a lot in the show this season, but they deserve a lot of credit, and
definitely
they're going to wrap up the title soon.
Their consistency's been incredible all season, and as I say, total credit to Steve Pittman and his team. Pitt's an ex-teammate of mine. Absolutely total credit. Well done to them. As I say, with the 2 games I've got left now, Scott, I can see them getting the points required. Away to Genefield's always a difficult game, but as I say, if they're now at home to Canoe in their next game, I think, as you said there, then I think they would take a home game to a result, and you'll be champions. That would arguably suit the fans, the club, everybody associated with it, but they do deserve a lot of credit this year.
And it's likely they're going to have some sort of playoff, because they are either going to face, they're either going to face Dalbeattie or Creetown in the south. So they are going to have some sort of playoff. West of Scotland, on the other hand, if it is Beath or St Cadoc's, then they obviously won't be part of it. It's been a funny week of playoffs, as we know, and we could probably spend a whole show talking about the pyramid system, but we've obviously seen it with Linlithgow and Trinent. They've made the step up into the Lowland League pretty well. Think Broxburn can do the same?
I think they could. I think they could, definitely. Again, any playoff game, I don't know, but it wouldn't be easy, but I think they would have enough quality based on the consistency they've showed all season. I think they would have enough to get themselves to the Lowland League and join the other East clubs that have already made it there.
Absolutely, yeah, 100%. Big away wins. Musselburgh won 2-1 away to Luncarty. Hutchie Vale won 2-0 away to Glenrothes. And we also saw Haddington winning 2-1 away to Sauchie. So those are obviously 3 sides who are obviously kind of up the top end of the table, who've been doing pretty well. Musselburgh and Hutchie Vale, I've got to give a shout out to. I think they've had very good seasons.
Yep, definitely. Again, Haddington away to Sauchie, that's a tremendous result. Sauchie are no mugs. Sauchie are a decent team. Again, at home, I'd probably sound like a broken record here. I say the First Division's competitive, the Premier League's highly competitive, and the good thing about the East Region should be proud of the levels that they've got in the leagues, where most teams on their day could beat any other team. So it's very, very competitive. And as I say, if you're not prepared for the game, you're not up for it. As I say, you could easily get turned over, regardless of who you're playing. But no, total credit to all these clubs. As I say, they've all had decent seasons, but I think Broxburn, again, have certainly been the best of the bunch.
Big result for Pennycook, winning 5-1 away to Dundonald Bluebell. It shows you Pennycook have been a difficult one to assess this season, because there's been some results in there that you've been, what's happening there, but they obviously going to Dundonald winning 5-1. It's no easy, but they're capable on their day. As I say, they've had some weird results this season, but I mean, they went to Hutchie and won 4-2, went to Dundonald and won 5-1. Pennycook are a bit of a kind of Jekyll and Hyde side, but they're their best.
They'll probably be just looking to add a bit of consistency to that. As you say, on their day, they're more than capable. And then other times they maybe feel they've let themselves down. But no, as I say, most teams at these levels now are, if they're at it, you can have a difficult afternoon.
Yeah, absolutely. Obviously, we mentioned Hillabead as well. I think a lot of credit has to go for the management team there. 2-1 at home at Tynecastle. They had a really difficult spell, obviously, resulting in a change of manager, but the consistency they've found has been remarkable, and they're another side who can just build on that next season. Again,
probably when managers were changing, things like Hillabead were maybe fluctuating nearer the bottom end of the table, they're not in that position now. They've certainly got themselves clear of it mid-table, and all these teams will be looking to finish strongly this season and then prepare themselves to start better next season. Arguably, that's what everybody will be doing here. So just try to finish as strong as you can, and then having one eye on try to start your season like you've ended.
Yeah, absolutely. And final game that I want to talk about, a massive game down at the bottom end of the table, was for Crossgates. Obviously, big result for them. They won 1-0 away to Canoe. It just makes the bottom of that league very exciting. Obviously, we know that Kenul have been relegated, but you've got Luncarty in 22 points, Glenrothes and Inverkeithing in 21, and Crossgates in 20. The end of the season is going to be very, very interesting down there.
That's right. That's got real interest as well. It's the same as the top of your league, but the bottom of the Premier League's very interesting. And again, at this time of the season, there's no room for error as such.
No.
And every game matters, every point matters, and teams will feel it. As I say, it's a natural human. You do feel pressure. You do feel it. It's who handles it best.
Yeah.
And who thrives on that bit of pressure. So certainly an interesting watch anyway.
We'll move into the first division, obviously. Another fascinating weekend as always. We'll start, big result, Camelin get a 5-0 home win over Vale of Leithen. I think Camelin, obviously, just with the kind of difficult time they've had over the past few weeks, just getting that win on the board. And I know Vale of Leithen, obviously, are a side that have really struggled, but just to get that kind of boost of confidence for Camelin with the games that are coming up, obviously, they've got a massive couple of games that they will be playing over the next few days. They'll have been delighted to get the points on the board and just get some goals out.
Again, Scott, see at this stage of the season, 3 points is all that matters.
100%.
It would be great if you'd done it and you had a glorious performance that went with it. But see right now, as long as you get 3 points, it's all that matters. So Camelin, certainly it would have probably been at home, a game that they would have felt, we'll get ourselves, hopefully score a few goals, get 3 points on the board and start to build for the remainder of their season. But aye, as I say, it's real. It's got a real exciting watch of what's going to happen here, both first, top, and bottom of the Premier.
Whitburn 2, Leith Athletic 0. Obviously, that was an interesting game. Obviously, Whitburn, another side that are chasing promotion as well. I've said for a while, in terms, obviously, Darren was on a few weeks ago when we were talking about it. He was very vocal on the games at home that are coming up because Leith are probably. Is it a case to say that outside the top 5, Leith have probably been the hardest team in terms of the kind of
definitely. Leith taking a point off ourselves at home. They scored after 20 seconds, and we've equalised late on. And maybe if you'd another 5 minutes, you'd have potentially won the game. But they certainly a lot of effort was put into it. They defended very well. So they've beat Leith or beat St Andrews at St Andrews. They've taken points off the top teams. So Leith on their day are a very good side. I tend to, again, Whitburn, if they've got a run at home, I tend to agree because at the end of the day, the parks are no great. Whitburn understand and know what they've got. Whitburn are used to playing in their facility, and that will suit them more than it will anybody else going. So, for instance, a Heriot Watt who are an excellent footballing team.
Yeah.
Put it on the asterisk to Heriot Watt versus Whitburn or Heriot Watt versus Dunipace. They're different games because Heriot Watt at home are excellent. So, I agree. Whitburn will be very difficult to beat at home. And however, like the rest of the teams, they've not got room for error. They've not got room for error, these clubs.
Yeah.
And because if they do slip up, there's 2 or 3 teams that are looking to then take advantage of that. So, as I say, I'm just happy about the pressure pot as such, but really interested to see what will unfold. And I feel there'll be a couple of twists and turns still to go.
Preston Athletic, again, they've been fairly consistent this season. Obviously, they're in 9th place. They had a win at home over the weekend as well. They won 3-1 at home to Oakley United. Preston have been fairly solid. Like that. Again, they're always solid, but they've been fairly good this season.
Scott, we drew there down there earlier in the season in the midweek. They scored a last-minute equaliser. Oakley, they've obviously a good result against Oakley. Oakley the following week at home against ourselves. I was impressed with Oakley. The effort they put in that day, they flung everything at us. And it looked like it really mattered to them that day. And arguably, I said to the manager, I actually can't believe you've not got more points on the board based on what I'd seen that day. So fair play to Preston because, as I say, what I'd seen the week before with Oakley, not an easy game, but Preston's obviously got themselves a good 3 points there.
Absolutely, and there was 2 0-0 draws as well to make up the first division. Arniston drew 0-0 with Kirkcaldy. Kirkcaldy got 9 games left to play as well, and I think in a matter of 3 weeks. So that's going to be a big kind of tough for them.
Difficult.
And Lacour 0, Blackburn 0. Out of the kind of 4 sides we mentioned there, who have you been kind of most impressed with?
Let me see. So Kirkcaldy, they always deserve a mention because we can't beat Kirkcaldy at Kirkcaldy. Never in my time have we beat. So Kirkcaldy always at Kirkcaldy have gave us a very tough time here. Only been to Broxburn once this year, just late on there, we got beat 2-1. Arguably, I thought I was a bit disappointed that night we didn't come away with something for the game. Lochore, again, have been a wee bit of a thorn on their side over the last few years as a club. Certainly at home, they beat us 1-0 at home. So again, on their day, more than capable. And then that leaves, who was the other team there?
So we
Lochore.
had Arniston, Lochore,
Aye.
Kirkcaldy and Blackburn.
Arniston the other week there put us out of cup, Scott.
Yeah.
Okay, I've been changing teams for cups and things like that, but arguably the team that I've been putting out is still what I feel good enough is to progress in the cup, although we're resting some other players. But all these clubs, as I say, I'll actually be happy not to see them next season because they've made our lives quite tough. And that's total credit to them.
Yeah, absolutely. No, I think there's a lot of sides in there who are very, very solid. And you mentioned Heriot Watt as well. Like, Banji gets a lot of credit for the job he's done there in terms of the footballing side. It's a lot of really tough sides, but like there's a good mix of kind of tough sides and sides that want to play the right way. And I think that makes for a really competitive league that we've seen this season.
Again, maybe 3-4 weeks ago, they came to Denny and I said to him after the game, that was our hardest game. Now we scored the last minute penalty to win the game, take 3 points. That was your hardest home game we've had all season. I thought they were excellent, and they're very well coached, and he deserves huge credit for that. They're very well coached. They try and play the right way. They stick to the methods of what they're, as I say, what he's looking for them to how they play. They stick to. They don't route to let's go long. They stick to how it is, and they deserve huge credit. As I say, any time we've played them, very, very difficult games.
Yeah, absolutely.
You're just happy to come out them. We beat them twice this season, both 2-1, and you're happy to take 6 points for it. But as I say, they also deserve a lot of credit.
The second division, there was a big occasion in the second division on Saturday. We'll start with a very impressive result for Tweedmouth, 2-1 home win over Armadale. Kev was on the show last week, and Kev was very vocal as well. This was a big week for them. They've certainly made massive grounds this week, and they now look. I think we deserve. I think I deserve a bit of credit for the wee boost we gave Tweedmouth last week. Obviously, once they've been on, they won 3 games in a row. Now you'll be hoping for the same.
Ultimately, Colin Strickland's trying to get Armadale out of the second division. So fair play to Tweedmouth. Again, we were down there last year, but absolutely total credit because Armadale are arguably looking to be leaving that league. Yeah. So not an easy game. So to get yourself a result at home against one of the teams that are looking for promotion, total credit to them.
Yeah, absolutely. I think Tweedmouth have been. I think they're in a false league position. I said that last week to Kev. I think that they are a side who probably are better than what the league position suggests. Thornton Hibs won 5-0 against O'Keefe Thistle, and
they're looking strong.
They're looking like they're going to go up as well, aren't they?
They're looking strong. Thornton Hibs are looking strong. And total credit to Bowness Athletic, who's already got themselves promoted again. Total credit to these clubs. And these clubs will add to the first division next season. And that's another reason where I'm happy to be leaving it, because you're not looking at a division that you go, okay, if these teams come up, they'll not be competing to get out it. And if these teams come down, they'll not be competing. It's going to be fiercely competitive again. As I say, but Thornton, again, I can see, they'll certainly, I can't see them not getting their promotion place. And after that, then there's probably one place with a couple of clubs going for it.
And it looks like Edinburgh South probably have the edge in terms of games. They're 5 points behind Armadale in 4th, but they have 3 games in hand. Armadale's goal difference is a lot higher though. So Armadale have got 40 goal difference, Edinburgh South have got 22. So again, Edinburgh South obviously in a really good run now. They've got the games to make up. But Armadale have got the goals. So again, that could be another really competitive. I think the top 2 are up. I think obviously Bowness are up.
I agree.
As between Armadale and Edinburgh South. And I think it's going to come down to just basically, I think it's probably going to come down to a goal difference as well. So Edinburgh South will be want to win their games in hand and want to win them quite well. Just put that bit of pressure on.
I sometimes often feel the points on the board are better than the games in hand. And again, especially at this time of the season. However, if you're Edinburgh South, you'd be certainly sitting in their camp saying, we win our games, we've taken a promotion place. On the other hand, Armadale, you're sitting with the points in the bag, you're then watching every result. Edinburgh South are playing, hoping for them to drop. But arguably, you also need to keep winning. So, it is, and the Premier first, now the second, it's very, very, very interesting watch for the remainder of the season, especially when the seasons need to end. I think the 18th of May is when it ends. So you mentioned there, Kirkcaldy 9 games. Arguably, that's not very fair. 9 games in 3 weeks. It's just your levels. It's where you're at. It's just what you need to deal with. But and that's where I go. Sometimes these situations can sometimes impact results where Kirkcaldy are a very, very good side at home, but you can maybe know you're playing 3 games a week into it, injuries, all these things, and then arguably you can play them and they're depleted a bit. But all there's buts and maybes, as I say, but certainly a real interesting watch for everybody.
And there were big wins in the weekend, obviously, as well. People's Rovers 1-2-1 away to East House's Lily, Kenaway 4-0 away to Edinburgh United, and Burnt Island 1-4-1 away to Ormiston. So they're 3 big away wins as well. And again, just 3 wee boosts for those sides. They're just kind of have had fairly solid seasons, I would say.
Yeah, the 3rd division again. Yeah, there's teams playing. West Calder's looking very strong, obviously. And teams, as I've said there, everybody will be looking to try and finish as well as you can. And then it's starting a rebuild for next season. And arguably everybody will be looking, if you've finished mid-table or if you've been in the bottom half, or if you've just missed out in the promotion place, arguably then your goal then is, can we go one step further next year? And I always feel when you finish seasons strongly, it can help you, the momentum of starting a pre-season and then you're kicking off a fresh journey.
Yeah, no, definitely, I'd agree with that. We mentioned obviously 3rd division. Bathgate gained 2 points on West Calder. They're going to play each other on Saturday, so that'll be very, very interesting. Bathgate have got 2 games in hand and 10 points behind. So Bathgate were to win that, could shape up for a very interesting title race. I think both of them are safely up. I think both of them will get promoted. I think it's quite an interesting look. You've obviously got Stonyburn as well, who I don't think are out of this yet. They've got 15 points to make up in Hart Hill, and they've got 4 games in hand. There's games to make up. I think you're looking at potentially Hart Hill, Pumferson, Howick, and Stonyburn. I would say Hart Hill have been very, very good. But that's another really exciting league. And you've got to give a mention. Lochgelly, I think, have been very good. Fauldhouse have been very solid. And Winton, Livy, I think, will be looking for better seasons going forward. That's a really, really competitive league, and it's only going to get a lot more competitive as it goes on.
Yeah, definitely. As you said there, there's always there's almost a wee mini league in the middle of that for now at the end of the season. Again, Hart Hill's sitting in a good position. They've got the points on the board, but teams will sit within your own camp. You'll sit and talk about it and say, right, we've got X amount of games in hand. If we win them, now it's a big ask winning them. But if you didn't believe, then what's the point? So teams will be sitting, as you said, Stonyburn will be sitting going, we've got 4 games in hand over Hart Hill. We win that. That can take us in, say, 44 points. You're in touching distance. Again, I'm not going to contradict myself, though, but I always feel the points on the board, Scott, are really what you're looking for just now. But if these teams can put a run together, then they deserve huge credit. But it's no beyond them.
No, absolutely not. And there's obviously, in terms of yourselves, obviously 2 games left in terms of kind of securing promotion. Obviously, promotions in the bag. There will be a wee kind of hope that you can end the season with a wee bit of silverware to go in that cabinet. Away to Kirkcaldy on Saturday, then away to home to Kirkcaldy on Saturday, and then away to Newton Grange. 2 games, win both. You're champions.
So, Scott, it's easy when you say it like that. However, again, I try and be honest. If you'd have said to me, and I've said this to the players on numerous occasions, when we stood in the training park in June at the start of our season, we keep our aims and our goals for the season within our group. That's it's how I like to work. I tend not to try to I'll fight my corner and I'll be vocal at times, but I tend to try and keep what we're looking to achieve as a group within ourselves. Now, sitting promoted with 2 games, everything in our own hands, we don't need to rely on anybody. I would take that off you if you said that to me in June. And I think every other manager in the first division would like to be in my position tonight.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
So now, for our group of players, as I said, we've been fortunate. We've been able to almost rest up a bit. Any niggles, we didn't have a game on Saturday. So the guys have had last week, we trained last week, with the weekend off. We're going to be back, we're training tonight, back in on Thursday. But what we're looking for now is that we can ultimately enjoy the rest of our season. They can play with our freedom. And when we play with our freedom, we're decent. So Kirkcaldy at home will not be an easy game, but it's one that I feel if we play to our capabilities, we're more than capable of getting 3 points. After that, away to Newton Grange, that'll be a very difficult game because Newton Grange might be looking for points that day as well. So, again, I would have took this every day of the week. Win 2 games, you win a league. We didn't need to rely on anybody else. And I'm now looking for my group of players that we step up and we deliver that.
Yeah, absolutely. And obviously, as you say as well, it is that kind of stage of the season where, and the season's been so tough because I think this season more than ever, and I was talking about this the other night actually to somebody, another manager, there has been a lot of cancellations. There's been a lot of rejigging fixtures. It's been probably as big a grind as many seasons in the past. So to be where you are, I think you will be massively happy with that, and I think you should take a lot of credit.
No, I really, really appreciate that. I take everything on board you just said there. As I say, it's been a great journey we're on. It's a journey, as I say, 3 and a bit year, and we've got a football club again in Derry, and that's the most important thing. But maybe the journey's just starting, Scott.
Yeah, well, you'll be hoping so. Danny, thank you very much for joining me in this week's episode. I cannot thank you enough. And best of luck for obviously the last 2 games and your progress at the club going forward. Thank you very much.
Very much appreciated, mate.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, everyone tuned in, folks. Please subscribe to our YouTube and podcast channels and follow our social media for much more East of Scotland content. Thank you very much.